I'm sure you've heard of major and minor in music. They're the two most popular types of keys used in music these days. And for good reason, they're both very harmonious and have very distinct characteristics. But what if I told you that there are more keys beyond major and minor? And they've been around for a lot longer than you might think. Hey musicians, my name is Damien and I'm a— Whoa, Damien, hold on a second. So you're telling me that there is more to music than just major and minor? Well, yeah, but next time can you not cut me off? I present to you the new and improved modes. Well, technically they're not brand new, since it's been thought that they've been used as far back as the 9th century. The major and minor scales have not always been as popular as they are today. Most Western music that was written back in the day was religious music, and it made use of many different modes. Why should I know about this, Damien, if it's so old? Well, there's actually a lot of music that makes use of modes these days. And I think it's really important to know more keys than just major and minor, so you can experiment with them in your music. Before we start looking into modes, we need to understand what is a scale. Let's have a look at the C major scale. We just need to play all the white notes from one C to the next C. But if we play a different major scale, say B major, then we need to use lots of black notes. Now why is this? Well, there's actually a formula to how scales are organised. They can be broken down into a series of steps, most commonly whole steps and half steps. So, for the major scale, we have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. When we move from one note to the note directly next to it, that is a half step. And when we move from one note to the next note by skipping a note in between, that is a whole step. Now, if we apply this to any note, we'll be able to build a major scale. Oi, you there, choose a note. How about J? What? That's not even a note in music. Oh, geez, I'm trying to learn Spanish here. How about A then? Alright, G. Let's make the A major scale then. We'll start on A and work our way up with the formula to make a major scale. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And there we have it, the A major scale. It's important to remember that a scale is just a combination of notes in a certain order, and once we know the formula, we can build the scale on any note that we want. Let's have a look at the names of all the modes we have. Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Now Ionian is the same as major, and Aeolian is the same as the natural minor scale. So that just leaves us with the 5 other modes to talk about. Let's take Dorian for example. If we just play D to the next D with all the white notes in between, then we get the D Dorian scale. Okay, that makes sense. But how do we know what to do if we want to play the G Dorian scale? This is where it's really helpful to relate each of these modes back to the major scale. I found that this is the easiest way to work out a modal scale without having to memorize each one. If we play the D major scale, we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and a D. Now let's compare this to the D Dorian scale. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D. We can see that the 3rd and 7th note of the major scale have to be moved down or flattened by a half step to make the Dorian scale. That's all we need to know to make the Dorian scale on any note. Now, if we try to make the G Dorian scale, we just need to play G major like this. And then we just have to flatten the 3rd note and the 7th note by a half step. And now we have G Dorian. Let's try Phrygian now. The Phrygian scale is all the white notes from E to E. Let's compare this to the E major scale. So we can see that the 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th notes of the major scale need to be flattened by a half step to create the Phrygian scale. Let's try to make B Phrygian with this now. First, we'll play the B major scale, and then we'll flatten the 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th notes. And now we have the B Phrygian scale. Next, we have the Lydian scale, which starts on the 4th note of the C major scale, F. This one is a lot simpler. We only need to sharpen the 4th note of the major scale to create the Lydian scale. Let's try making B flat Lydian. Here's the B flat major scale. And by sharpening the 4th note, here's the B flat Lydian scale. Next, we have another simple one, Mixolydian. Mixolydian starts on the 5th note of the C major scale, which is G. To make a Mixolydian scale, we just need to flatten the 7th note by a half step. So this is the G major scale. And if we lower the 7th note from an F sharp to an F, we have the G Mixolydian scale. Let's try to make the C Mixolydian scale. Here's C major. And here's C Mixolydian. You can see that we just flattened the B to a B flat, and this gives us the Mixolydian scale. As I said earlier in the video, Aeolian is just another name for the natural minor scale. So starting on A and playing all the white notes to the next A, we have the A Aeolian scale. Now, if we compare this to the A major scale, then we will need to flatten the 3rd, 6th and 7th notes of the major scale. Let's try this with F. Here's the F major scale. And now we'll flatten the 3rd, 6th and 7th notes to make the F Aeolian or natural minor scale. Finally, we have the Locrian scale. This is probably the least consonant sounding mode, and it is not used very much because of this. So we can make the Locrian scale by starting on the 7th note of the C major scale, which is B, and playing all the white notes to the next B. This gives us B Locrian. Now, let's compare this to the B major scale. You can see that there's a lot of notes that we need to change. We have to flatten the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th and 7th notes of the scale to change a major scale into a Locrian scale. Let's try to make the D Locrian scale. First, we'll play the D major scale. And now we'll flatten the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th and 7th notes, and we have our D Locrian scale. Now here's a quick summary of all the modes and what notes you need to change to make a major scale into a modal scale of your choice. If you want to try writing your next piece of music in a mode, just pick a major scale and then choose a mode and change the notes that you need to. So thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of this video, and if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want as well. Now before I finish up today, I'm going to have a go at writing a piano piece in C Lydian. So I'll see you in the next video and enjoy the piece.